Hey there YouTube, we're here with this 2010 Nissan Altima, and today we're going to be doing the front struts on this vehicle. Now this is the 3.5 liter Nissan Altima. I mention that because if you have the 4-cylinder Nissan Altima, you'll want to purchase a different set of struts than what I am installing in this vehicle. I will have both of the links in the description below, so that way you can purchase them. But yeah, this is going to be the front strut replacement on the left side. The front right should be the exact same. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this and start taking off the wheel and jacking it up. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen all the lug nuts. And then we'll go ahead and jack up the vehicle. Make sure to use jack stands to be safe. And then we'll budge the lug nuts off the rest of the way. Just a little subtle kick, and we'll take off that tire. So with taking a look inside here, first thing you can see is we have the actual strut with the shock. And this is the reason why we're replacing them. This one, the actual spring broke. The sway bar link is here. That's been recently replaced. We have the ABS cable there. And then we have the 2 bolts that hook in the strut. And then we have a few on top. The first thing we're going to do is remove the brake hose. Brake hose is held in by a horseshoe clip. I'm just using a pry bar here to get a little leverage so I can push it out. There's that horseshoe clip. And then we'll just pull the hose away. Next, we're going to take off the ABS cable. And that just go in the front there, out of the way. Then we'll take our breaker bar and we'll break loose both of the nuts. And then we can fully take off the nuts. I like to leave the bolts in just so that way they're stable. Next, we're going to take our wrench, put it on the back side of the sway bar link, and then a socket on the front. You want to have the wrench on the back side of the sway bar link so that way you don't just spin that ball joint round and round in circles. Take the impact and buzz it out the rest of the way. Next, we're going to take the jack and we're going to just jack up the bottom of the control arm and just jack it up so that way it takes the tension off of the sway bar link, and then I can just pull it out of that hole then without hardly any effort. And then you can let the jack back down. Then we'll just take our hammer and pound out the bolts. Now we can give it a quick wiggle and break the two apart from each other. On top, you're going to just want to take loose the 3 bolts. You can get a ratchet and a socket on 2 of them. I went ahead and used a ratchet wrench on the 3rd. And then you can see that the actual strut just dropped down. Then you can go ahead and just pull things away and pull the strut assembly fully out. So these are the new struts that we picked up. They're from Detroit Axle. I will have the link for where we got on Amazon in the description below. They're a fully loaded strut, which is nice, so you don't have to do anything besides just reinstall them the exact same way that we just took them out. So I'll go ahead and put the strut pretty much back in the same position that you took it out in. One thing to note is to make sure the top hat is in the same orientation as the one that you took out. There's only one way that the hat can go in, so that's something to note. And I went ahead and buzzed in those 3 bolts, so that way it would be held up. And I'm going to slide that back in until these bolt holes line up. And we'll just go ahead and put one of the bolt holes through. And then we'll fish the other one in as well. We're just going to take our hammer and peck those in. Spray a little bit of liquid wrench on them, so that way it'll be a little bit easier to thread them on.
Yep.
I didn't have any WD-40 right now, so I would have used that instead, but this will do. And then just going to go ahead and tighten those up. And now go ahead and torque those down. Up top, you can go ahead and zip those bolts in the rest of the way now that everything's fit in correctly on the bottom. Now we're going to go ahead and jack up the strut again, so that way I can put that sway bar link back in there a lot easier. Then we're going to put that nut on there. Sorry, it's a little bit out of range there. Then go ahead and zip it down with the gun and tighten it down. If you have a gun powerful enough, you might not have to actually torque it down right after. Take the ABS cable and slide the back into the spots on the strut. Take the brake hose and you're going to put it back in the hole, and then take that horseshoe clip and line it up. I use the hammer to get a little bit of pecking action, so that way it will actually slide into that spot a little bit easier. This is something I almost forgot. I went ahead and slid that black boot up above the bump stop, so that way it will cover up the full shock. And then now the top is done. Now the bottom is all set and everything's all assembled. I think we can go ahead and put our wheel back on, and we'll get everything put back down on the ground. So we're just going to go ahead and finger start each one of these lug nuts. Zip them down with the gun, and then we'll go ahead and take our jack and let the vehicle down. And while I'm doing this, why don't you guys go ahead and scroll down and put a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of this. I do a lot of repair videos, including the rear shock video on this car. So that's wraps on this one, and I'll catch you guys later.